guess you could say that's a refreshing change, but really, murder never is. 32 people died in the biggest massacre in American history at Virginia Tech. And of course, once again, another tragedy comes right behind that. People overreacting and being stupid about it. I'm joined over here with Marcus Campbell, who's witnessed this firsthand, correct?
Very much, yeah.
Yes. Why don't you start out by telling us your recent encounter with paranoia?
Just this afternoon, I was mowing a ball field, and there was an incident with a gentleman who had been drinking in public and had been escorted by police, had made his way back, and so I warned some nearby people, here's what's going on. He's over by himself, but if he gets close, you might want to, heads up. So immediately the gentleman gets on the phone and calls the local police department.
Right.
And says, this guy's crazy and he's here, come get him. So I tell the guy, he didn't actually need to do that, Well, with that shooting, you can never be too careful.
Correct.
Ah, yes. Exactly, because he looked like the type, passed out in the grass over there that would get up and, killing spree immediately.
Once again, he's in the drunk phase. He's sleeping at this point in time. Here's the problem when this always happens. We all hit the stupid button. And it'd be one thing if we would take these examples and then learn from them and then say, okay, what can we do to improve this issue? But we never do. Yeah. We get scared for 3.5 weeks, we blame everything under the sun, and then we get distracted by another shiny object, and we go back to the way it was before till we have another one. And then the media asks the same damn questions over and over again. We get more coverage, and it seems like nothing ever gets accomplished from this, correct?
Yeah. First, I feel horrible. For the incident itself.
Yes.
We'll get that out of the way. But yeah, as far as this goes, now it's everything in this guy's past is brought up, and we're looking into why'd he mail that manifest UPS? Does that mean anything? Why did he not use FedEx? And
did the Browns set him off? Is that the question?
And it's, and I watch something. Of course, Brian Williams is on TV 24/7 now on NBC, and
that leads me on a murderous range. Most of the time.
And he's just going on and on about all this, and so he's telling everyone, now you must look for the warning signs. So now we have the entire society looking at everybody saying, he's wearing this color today. Right. That's a warning sign. He needs counseling, or this and that.
What are the warning signs? I always roll my eyes because that's the first thing. We hear, he wrote crazy scripts about murder. Okay, well that would be every single one of my friends in high school, okay? None of them have killed anybody, all right? They've annoyed the hell out of me, but they didn't kill anybody. That's the problem. We start getting really stereotypical. Classic example, right after Columbine, me and my friends, because we're jackasses, I'm not going to lie, decided that we were going to wear trench coats to a movie, black trench coats. We did this for one simple reason, because when I was in high school, I had 2 or 3 friends that wore black trench coats everywhere. We went to see movies, we walked around, nobody noticed. So we all put it on, and this was Greg and Eric, a father, an army officer, respected people in the community, not killers. We put on the trench coats. We walk into the theater, everybody's head turns. Dear God, it's the trench coat mafia. We go into our movie kind of laughing about it. Next thing I know, a 300-pound security guard comes walrusing up to our seats and goes, I need to see you boys outside. Brings us down there, says somebody said we had guns, he wants us to shoot, wants us to, be searched, which is really stupid because we have guns when we've killed him. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, is it all of a sudden got stupid. We did that for a reason. 1, we're jackasses. Okay, that's number 2. But number 2, we did it as a social experiment. Something that all of a sudden is this warning sign that isn't a warning sign at all. And that's what I think what worries me here. This is what scares everybody, is that 1 million kids do this stuff, and about only 1 of them snaps. And do you think there's any warning signs? What do you think would be a true warning sign to see if somebody's actually going to crack?
I honestly, I wouldn't know what to look for. I would assume that, they were talking to his roommates, and, of course they were saying, no, we had no idea. We never saw him. He was always in his room, and, they had nothing to do with it, of course. They saw the guy every single day, but I would assume, there would be outbursts. There would be, yelling and specifics, I hate this person, over and over and over again. It's not just, light bulb turns on one day and it's like, oh, this guy pisses me off. Let's go.
I'm gonna have waffles. Let's go kill people. But I have a theory about that, because you and I talked about this, and I always love it when this happens. They always say the same thing. This guy was a loner, kept to himself. I don't believe that. Here's what I believe actually happens. I believe that this guy had friends. And this guy hung out with the friends, and all the friends were probably his buddies, and they thought, well, this guy's a little weird, but he's our buddy. Okay, then all of a sudden out of nowhere, this guy goes and shoots everybody. Nobody wants to be his friend. So all of a sudden, he never talked to anybody. He was a loner. I didn't know anything about it. It's a lie. What's happening is these people kind of psychologically feel so bad about not picking up on some sort of signal they all of a sudden have to disassociate themselves mentally from it. So that's why I always love the loner theory. This guy wasn't a loner. This guy had friends. The friends probably thought he was a little wacky. They obviously didn't think he was going to go kill people. So now everybody's going to go, I don't know who he is.
And it's not like this is completely out of the blue. I mean, teachers have said, I approached him and, I've told other people that he needed counseling, but we couldn't force him. So, I mean, obviously people were picking up on signs, they just really couldn't do anything about it, or people chose not to.
But that's the point, is that we get so stupid about Marilyn Manson and all these things. There's a difference between a kid who's being emo, and I'm going through my phase, and a guy with actual noticeable psychological. Trust me, I've seen the differences. There's a difference between a kid going through a phase and a person with psychological issues, and they can be pointed out too. And like I said, we get so wrapped up, we get so concerned, because part of it, I think, is a guilt thing. I think we feel bad about how we can't control this. This is why I always love conspiracy theories. This is why we have to believe the government killed John F. Kennedy and not Lee Harvey Oswald. Because the idea of the government killing Kennedy is a little more satisfying. It's conspiracy. There's nothing we control. The idea of one guy getting that lucky shut-off, and being able to change the world like that is scary. And it frightens us. And it frightens us on a very instinctual, primal level.
And that's case closed. I mean, with this whole conspiracy. Conspiracies are meant so they can go on and on and on. And,
Right.
A thousand other conspiracies can, be offspring from all these different things.
And it's a very therapeutical thing. People look into this. But, I think part of this is it's a crapshoot. I mean, some of the freedoms of living in the country. What getting me right now is we're all of a sudden starting to go blaming another thing is the guns. The Prime Minister of England, or of Australia, who's now officially my favorite person on the planet, decides that when he's offering his condolences, he goes, "My heart goes out to the people of Virginia Tech for this tragic loss." I probably should have my Australian accent. "My heart goes out for these tragic loss to the people at Virginia Tech, and I'd like to say that this is what the American gun culture will lead to." Well, it's rather crass and pointless to put a political propaganda. There's one small problem with that. This guy came from Korea. He's not an American. This is not this. We start talking about things like, if there was a 2-day waiting period. He bought the gun a month ago. If he really wants to kill somebody, this guy's on the air talking about how he wants to be Jesus. Do you think if he thinks that he's the next Messiah, that he's going to worry about getting a gun permit or getting a gun legally if he has to?
He'll find a way around it.
Right. These are crap shots. The problem is we're all desperately afraid of mental health. And we're always going to blame these really pointless things like video games and things like that to move on. What we need to say is, say the real magical words: bipolarism, medication, and psychology, and leave Marilyn Manson alone.
One thing that just popped into my head is when you were talking about, the roommates. So I have no idea. It's like he lived in a dorm with 2 other guys.
Yes.
I've had roommates, and at one time or another, I've gone into their room for, one reason or another. I need a pair of socks, or maybe I left the video game in there or something. Maybe a warning sign is if he's coming out of his room every single time and locking the door, or you can't go in there whatsoever. And maybe, and they didn't, think anything was going on if they walk into his room. And one of the pictures was all these bullets, lined up nicely. He'd taken a picture of. You don't notice, 1,000 bullets laying around the guy's room, or?
You notice. I had a friend in high school who had a crush on a girl that he could never have. Okay, classic high school story. But he got to the point where I walked into his room one day, and he went and took her picture in the yearbook, her basketball picture, went to Kinko's, or wherever the hell we went back in those days, made a copy of it, and framed it. And then put another one of those pictures in his wallet, and another one of those in the key sign. I didn't think he was going to shoot up the school, but I was damn concerned at that point in time, and I pointed it out.
That's when, you cross paths. Hey, buddy, I want to talk to you for a second.
Right. Now, here's the question. If he goes and shoots up people, would my natural response be, I never saw that, and it was just a loner? No. I saw something. And it at least was enough to register in my mind to, when this occurred, going, well, this might have been a sign. And if I saw it, those people saw it. I just think we need to move on, and actually, I wish to God either we would address this as what it is, a tragedy, feel sorrow for the victims, but if we're not going to be really serious about trying to find the problem and just keep these kind of fluff pieces, which is what the news is doing, I just wish we'd just not even deal with it at all. All right, we'll be back in a second for more Tales from the Anti-Man.